Good morning. Welcome to At the Movies. How does that feel today? I got one short announcement to make before we start. Next week, can you believe it or not, we're going to be decorated for Christmas. It's our first week of Advent. We are doing a series that is called Why the Nativity. It's actually a nationwide thing that's going on. There's also going to be a movie. There's pamphlets on the back table if you want to grab those. There's going to be a movie on December 16th, 6 o'clock here. So we're going to show a movie that Friday night. But it's all about why the Nativity. Okay? So, here we go. Welcome to At the Movies. So I'm going to give you a few names right now. I'm going to give you a name. Do you remember Stan Johnson in your life? Do you remember Shirley Horowitz? Okay. Do you remember Jason Smith? I wasn't asking them, though. I was asking you. Today we're going to watch a movie. We're going to watch parts of a movie. So bear with me on our technical issues because we're cheap and we don't have a lot of technical equipment here, so it's just me. So the movie we're going to watch today is The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. A little background on the movie. It's about a man named Eddie, who was a maintenance man at a place called Ruby Pier. When Eddie was young, he used to go there with his dad, and that's how he learned how to fix all the rides and things at Ruby Pier. Just before the war started, Eddie met the love of his life, a woman named Marguerite. As you'll see, Eddie goes to war, and Marguerite says that she will wait for him till he gets back. One of the biggest things in the movie is Eddie thinks his life was a waste, that he did nothing in life. So let the story begin.
Marguerite, you want to do the honors?
Who's this from?
I don't know.
Well tonight.
Thank you. Eddie? Are you afraid? Don't be afraid.
You ain't the fighting type. Look at it this way. You get to see some faraway places, right? I always wanted to do that.
I've never been more than 5 miles from here.
Me neither. It's not gonna change.
Really?
Yeah, I ain't spending the rest of my life at Ruby Pier. Marguerite.
You don't have to ask me.
I don't? Ask you what?
Wait. Don't die, okay?
I ain't gonna die. I'm gonna die.
it! Get up there!
Alright, everybody stay calm. Stay calm.
Who's up there with you? Willie! Okay, tell Willie to release the safety bars. Green button, rear panel, you got it? Then send down that cart.
Everybody just stay calm.
Hydraulics, gears, cable.
Rear panel safety bars. Yeah, I got it.
Don't look down. It's the cable.
I'll be over in a few moments.
Don't release the car, it's gonna fall! It's gonna fall! Get back! All of you, get back! It's gonna fall! Get back! Get back! Back! Move! Push up! All of you, get back! Move! It's gonna fall!
This is a story about a man named Eddie. But the end of his life was only the beginning. Eddie saw nothing of his final moment on Earth. He felt no pain from his death. All he felt was lightness and calm, as if every hurt he had ever suffered had been washed away. And then he woke up.
Crazy way to start a movie, huh? With the death of something, but if you remember in the movie it said, with death brings a new beginning. Eddie's life was just beginning. One of the first things you notice is Eddie's limp is gone. His wound was gone. He feels like a little kid again. You saw him jumping around. He got his new body in Christ, one that's free from pain and all suffering. But this is just the beginning of Eddie's journey in heaven. The first person that Eddie meets in heaven is a man that he knew at the freak show at Ruby Pier. He had barely ever crossed paths with this man's life. But let's see how this goes.
Not your heaven. It's mine.
What? Oh, can't kill you.
You did. See the boy?
Who's got it?
See the man in the car? It was only my second time. I so loved it, behind the wheel of an automobile.
Stop your come on, beat it, watch it,
What I almost did, that little boy. My blood was rushing. My heart was not strong. And it surrendered. The police wrote heart attack on the official papers. No one saw, no one knew. No one pays much notice to a freak, even when he dies. People just go on with their lives. You see now why you are here, little boy?
God help me, mister. I didn't mean it. You dying. I didn't know.
Well, how could you know? You were only a child.
So now I gotta pay, right?
Pay?
For my sin. That's what I'm here for, right? Justice.
No. You are here so I could teach you something. Each one of your 5 people has one such thing to show you, to illuminate. By the end, what you did not understand in life, you will.
Why do I have to wear Joe's shoes?
Quiet!
Stop wiggling.
But it's my birthday. I don't want to go.
Sometimes you have to do things you don't want to do.
I remember this. We have to go to a funeral.
But it's my birthday.
Hey! What did I say? Huh? What did I say? I said be quiet.
Come on, son.
I did not attract a big crowd that day.
It's not fair. It was my own stupidity running out there like that. I should have been the one killed. Not you.
Fairness does not govern life and death. If it did, no good man would ever die young. During my time on Earth, people died instead of me, too. There are no random acts. We are all connected. Good comes from it.
Good? What good came from this? You died.
Well, we lived.
But I barely knew you. We were strangers.
Strangers are just family you have yet to come to know. I am leaving now, Edward.
Wait. The little girl at the pier? I tried to save her. I felt her hands. I must have pulled her. I can't remember after that. Did I save her? It was the last thing I did a failure to.
I cannot answer that.
My life was a waste.
No life is a waste.
Wow, we have another death. It's but one of the greatest things that was said in the beginning, if you remember, that Eddie couldn't speak when he got to heaven, and he said it's kind of like God's little way of making man listen to them. Maybe that's a good lesson for us to learn here on earth. Sometimes we have to stop and listen to what God is saying to us. He also told Eddie that we all have a lot of questions that we have here on earth that we don't understand, that don't get answered in our lives. But when we get to heaven, all those questions that we have will be revealed to us. Now, Eddie was puzzled because the first person that he meets was this blue man. He hardly knew him. He didn't even know their paths crossed when he was a child. He just ran in front of the car. We never know the things that can happen when we cross paths with someone, even though we don't realize we cross paths with them. After Eddie found out what happened when their lives crossed paths when he was a child, he wondered why he didn't die instead of the blue man. The blue man said, good came out of it. And Eddie said, what good came out of it? You died. The blue man said, I died so you could live. And then he said, and he died so he could live. It showed Eddie the amazing way that God connects all his people here on earth, even when we don't know it. Remember last week when I said, and we were talking about family and the holidays coming, one of the greatest lines I think that the blue man said in there was, strangers are just family we have yet to come to know. Eddie thought again, you heard at the end, that his life was a waste. But the blue man tells him that no life is a waste. The lesson he learned, everything happens for a reason, even death. The second person that Eddie meets is the captain from the army. And one note to think is Eddie got wounded, and he was also a prisoner of war. So let's see what happens next.
There will be others.
Can I ask you where you're going?
Happy birthday, Eddie.
Joe, comiences.
There you go.
Good job.
All right, son.
So it looks pretty good, all things considered, don't he, Pop? You look really good, son. Really. Good, Eddie.
Bastard! Did you do that? How could you do that?
Get it out.
My leg! My leg! My life!
Get it out.
My life! Why?
I had to.
Why?
I took your leg to save your life. You would have died in that fire. You were obsessed. You damn near knocked Morton unconscious. Another second, you would have been so deep in, none of us could have gotten you.
There's nobody in that hut. What was I thinking?
I seen it happen 100 times. A soldier reaches a certain point and he's done. Sometimes in the dead of night, man will come out of his tent, just start walking. Like he lives around the corner, like he's going home.
Why didn't I just die?
Wasn't your time to die. I couldn't just let you burn alive. I figured a leg wound would heal. Morton pulled you out of there. And the others got you home.
What do you mean the others got me home?
Just like I told you, tetanus, yellow fever, all them shots. Just a big waste of my time.
Hey, come on. Eddie, look at me. Hey.
I'm gonna blow that lock and check around the curve. Keep an eye out.
Hang on, Eddie. Hey, Eddie, hold on, okay? Hey, you going home? You wanna go home, don't you? Eddie, look at me. Hey, look at me, look at me. I know. That's one of us. Hey. I don't remember none of this.
I figure what was left of me landed in about 1,000 places, including here.
This is where you're buried.
Well, that's a fancy way of saying it, but yeah, this was my funeral.
Smitty, Morton, I never saw them at the hospital. When I got home, I didn't open mail, I didn't ask questions, I just wanted to forget. You've been here all this time?
Waiting for you.
That's what the blue man said.
Well, he was too. But he had something to teach you. And now he's moved on. And I'm fixing to do the same.
So, what are you here to do?
Sacrifice. I made one, you made one. But you had the wrong idea about yours. You got angry. Kept thinking about what you lost. You didn't get it. Sacrifice ain't something to be ashamed of. It's something to be proud of. People stop sacrificing for one another. They lose what makes them human. It's the noblest thing we do.
You lost everything.
Well, that's the thing about sacrifice. Sometimes when you think you're losing something, you're really just passing it on to someone else. Forgive me about the leg. That's what I was waiting for.
Captain.
Yeah.
Why this place? I mean, you can choose anywhere to wait, right?
Well, I died knowing almost nothing but war. I wanted to see what the world looked like before we started killing each other. Before war.
But this is war.
Our eyes ain't the same, soldier. this is what I see. By the way, I don't smoke. That was all in your eyes, too. Who smokes in heaven? This is yours. Well, good luck.
Wait, the little girl at the pier, did I save her? I can't remember, I only felt her hands, little hands. Just want to know, that's all.
I can't tell you.
There's a lot more that goes on between Eddie and the captain before we saw that clip. But the clip is all about sacrifice. At the beginning, you saw Eddie fighting with his captain. They were fighting over what the captain did to Eddie. He shot him in the leg. But he shot him in the leg to save his life and to save the life of fellow soldiers. They both sacrificed. The captain lost his life, but Eddie thought he lost even more. But he lost perspective on what sacrifice was. As I said, the captain lost his life, but Eddie thought that his sacrifice was too hard to overcome. He didn't realize how blessed he was to be alive. And I thought that was an interesting line when the captain said, sacrifice isn't something to be ashamed of, but to be proud of. A great example of sacrifice is for parents that sacrifice for their children. We sacrifice all the time, and our children don't know about it. And sometimes we don't want them to know about it. But we did it anyway, because we knew it was the right thing to do. Taking care of our family, as the captain said, is one of the noblest things that we can do. And when he said when we stop sacrificing for one another, we stop being human. The noblest sacrifice that anyone ever made was Christ, the one he made for us on the cross. He died too, so each of us could live. And if you noticed again, the last thing that Eddie asked the captain was what happened to the little girl that was at Ruby Park. Did I save her? The third person that Eddie meets in heaven is the place that Ruby Pier is named after.
But someone can.
Don't you move, you bastard!
This happened long ago.
No!
What are you doing? Just no, you don't want to do this.
What the hell's going on? Hey, come here!
I'm all right.
What did he do?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Don't do it. No, don't.
Why didn't he let him drown? Why didn't you kill him?
He wanted to, but years ago they fought in the war together. Mickey helped him get his first job. Your father held loyalty in very high regard. In the end, it mattered more than his rage. So he saved a life instead of taking one.
Pneumonia.
He fought the ocean for a long time. Sometimes he would cry out for your mother, or your brother, or for you.
For me. How do you know that?
There were 2 patients to a room. Your father died in the middle of the night. Again, I cursed Ruby Pier. I wish that I could undo any harm it had ever caused. That wish formed my heaven.
I don't understand. This old diner?
This old diner is more than a place. It's a time when things were simpler.
But those people inside, they were all hurt.
Well, accidents, fights, fires. I would have none of it. My heaven would be a place where anyone who ever suffered from Ruby Pier, even for a moment, would be safe forever. Your father, too.
I hated him, you know.
I know.
He was hell on me as a kid, and even worse when I got older. Once he couldn't hit me no more. He stopped talking to me altogether.
Eddie, we think by hating someone we hurt them. But hatred is a curved blade, and the harm that we do to others, we also do to ourselves.
Why is everything so different than I thought?
Well, when you first got here, do you remember how you felt?
You had no pain, no worry.
No hate. That's because nobody's born with anger. We build it over the years with the things we don't say, with the things we bury. When we die, the soul is freed of it, freed to see the truth.
So, what do I gotta do?
You need to forgive your father.
Dad. I'm here now. I saw what happened. I didn't understand you. I still don't. You beat me. You humiliated me. I was your son. Look at me, Pop. I'm older than you. I didn't know your life. I didn't know you. But I understand now. I'm letting it go. All right? Can we let it go? I forgive you, okay? Hear me? Let it go. I forgive you, Dad. I forgive you.
It's fixed.
Isn't that interesting when she said that nobody is born with hatred? Ruby was a really interesting person, and there's a few things to know about Ruby before you saw this clip. The park at one time had burned down, and Ruby did everything to tell her husband not to build it again. She didn't want people to get hurt. She felt that too many people were hurt there, and she didn't want it to happen anymore. But the most interesting thing we saw was the death of Eddie's father. Eddie, for so many years, thought that his dad was just a drunk and went into the water one day, fell and got pneumonia, and then he died. He hated his dad for years because that's the way he saw it. But when he was sick, he also had to work at Ruby Pier for his dad so he wouldn't lose his job. How many times in our lives do we look at something the wrong way? And then come to find out it really happened another way. We jumped the gun on it. How many times have we yelled or cursed at somebody driving in a car in front of us? A lot of times it's justified for people on their cell phone. Think about it this way. Maybe that person just got a phone call that a loved one just died. Maybe they just got a phone call that their child was hurt at school and they were rushing to get there. The thing is, we don't know what goes on in a person's life. And that's one of the hardest lessons that we have to learn in life, is forgiveness. Ruby said hatred was a two-edged blade. What we do to others, we do to ourselves. Forgiveness is one of the hardest things for the human race to do. Yet if we can do it, you saw Eddie do it, it brings comfort to our lives if we can just let it go. Remember, some things don't always look the way they appear. Now, the fourth person that Eddie meets in heaven is the love of his life, his wife.
You had to live without love for many years, didn't you? You felt that it was snatched away. I left you too soon.
Did leave too soon.
There was a reason to it all.
What reason? You died. Died and you lost everything, and I lost everything. I lost the only woman I ever loved.
No, you didn't. I was right here. And you loved me anyhow. Lost love is still love, Eddie. It takes a different form, that's all. You can't hold their hands. You can't tussle their hair. But when those senses weaken, another one comes to life. Memory. Memory becomes your partner. You hold it. You dance with it. Life has to end, Eddie. Love doesn't.
I never wanted anyone else.
I know.
I'm still in love with you.
I know, I felt it.
We
felt it here.
Even here. I want to show you something. I was saving this one. Dance with me.
Can I ask you something? How come you looked the way you looked the day I married you?
Because I thought you would like it this way.
Can you change it?
Change it. To what?
To the end?
But I wasn't so pretty at the end.
Can you?
The lesson we learn here is love. We all know love. But in Eddie's case, he said his love was taken too soon. His wife had died of cancer early, and she reminded him of something very important. That love never dies. Even when someone passes away, she said she could still feel the love that he had for her in heaven. Even though he couldn't touch her hand or touch her cheek, love is still alive. Memories are the gifts of love that he was behind for us to share. We also learn the old saying about love and beauty, that it's only skin deep. When Eddie wanted Marguerite to change to go back to the way she was at the end, it teaches us that Eddie thought she was just as beautiful at the end as she was the day they got married. Marguerite's heaven was one more dance with Eddie. The last person that Eddie meets in heaven is very interesting. All the questions that Eddie has will be answered, just like ours will be when we get to heaven. Remember when Eddie was in the war and he escaped and they burned the village down that he was in? The fifth person that he meets in heaven was someone that was in one of those buildings.
5 years old. You're my fifth person.
Why are you sad?
Why am I sad? Where? Here? Earth. I was sad because I didn't do anything in my life. Because I always felt trapped by the things that were happening. I wasn't where you were supposed to be. You understand that?
Is where you're supposed to be.
Where? Ruby Pier fixing rides? Why? Why was I supposed to be there?
Children. You keep them safe. You make good for me every day. You make good for me. Is where you're supposed to be. Any maintenance?
Tala.
Tala.
There was a little girl at the pier the day I died. You know what I'm talking about? Did I save her? Just tell me. Did I pull her out of the way?
No pull. Push. You push her away. Big thing, Father. You keep her safe.
No, I felt her hands. I couldn't have pushed. I felt her little hands.
Not her hands. My hands. I bring you to heaven. Keep you safe.
accidents he had prevented, all the lives he had kept safe, and all their children, and all their children's children, there because of the simple things that he did, day after day. This is the story of a man named Eddie who lived and died and would one day himself share the secret of heaven. That each life affects the other, and the other affects the next.
Hello? Hello? I don't know if you, oh, I don't think you can, oh yeah, I can hear me now. Yeah. He'll have to use that. Hello? Ooh. Yeah, it was wireless number 1 or wireless number 2, I think it says back there, so I'm not sure. I'll have Don, he's gone hunting, but I can do it not next week, but the following week. So we'll just not use that wireless then, which is weird. And what did you say the wall top is this thing? Do we have anything you plugged into it than we did before?
I turned the pulpit mic down when I was over there. I thought maybe it was like that, but it wasn't.
No, for some reason it's your wireless even though it was off.
That's weird.
So I'll find out, but next week you're probably just gonna use the pulpit mic instead of the wireless. But weird.
It's weird that, yeah, when it was off.
Yeah.
Well, at least cut off towards the end, because the end was really kind of bad.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's weird. I don't know. I just went back and I just started turning stuff down until it stopped.
That's what you do. Keep turning buttons.
And that's, yeah.
I told him, when I turn it on in the morning, you can hear this weird. It's like a static. So something's in the
I wonder if it's, I don't know if maybe that wireless, that receiver should like maybe the receiver's going bad or the system's going bad. I don't know. I didn't know the system that last system was bigger than mine. I didn't remember that.
Well, and I'm sure that TV doesn't have anything to do, that TV's 12 years old. And it's, I mean, you have to turn it on manually now, and, who knows if that's doing something.
Yeah, I'll try to turn the voltage back up and see if it's still. Those were the 2 that I turned down and it stopped. Oh shoot, I still have live streaming. Oh, we're on live streaming.
That's all right. They probably shut us off anyway, because most of the sermon was about a movie.
Yeah, copyright violation.
That's right. Well, everybody loved it.
Yeah, good.
It was different. Ryan was really excited. Whoa!